Hey guys, it's Sean Zine, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. This is live number 5 on the year. Again, I do this to provide value to you, those that are watching in my community. I want to help you be a better person, be a better you, be better in business. And I want to have more action takers that will start implementing things that we're sharing on these lives. And again, if you are sitting there for the next half hour, jot some stuff down, definitely utilize it. Come back to us, let us know how it has helped you, if it has helped you at all. I know it will. I know it can definitely take it to the next level, but you have to be an implementer. You have to be one that wants to take action. You don't want to sit there and just let it go in one ear and out the other. I want to bring my guest on, Bill Bates. Let me get him on here. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, Sean. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking some time out of your busy day to allow us to drop some value.
Yeah.
For those that don't know who you are, I would love for you to give us a little introduction. I like hearing it from my guests instead of me giving an introduction. It's more authentic.
Sure. Well, I'm a real estate investor, for one. When people ask me what I do, I just say I do real estate. People's automatic reaction is thinking, oh, you're just a realtor. Well, that is one thing that I am, but mainly what I do and I primarily focus on is I'm a buy and hold investor. I just recently started doing fix and flips. I did rehabs before, but I always held them, but I love flipping, especially in this current market. And I'm also a realtor, I'm actually more of a realtor to leverage being a better investor, but I do a pretty decent amount of volume in 2021 for my sphere of influence as a realtor. So those are 3 things that I do. And my whole life, I've always been an entrepreneur, not full-time, except for the past 4 years, part-time, wantapreneur, whatever you want to, label it as. So that's primarily what I do right now.
Well, let's go down that path. You said you were doing a lot of your, this entrepreneurship on a part-time basis. A lot of people that are watching have jobs, and then they have a side hustle, and that side hustle can turn into your main hustle. It depends on your passion for it.
Sure.
So what really drove you to get into like real estate or investing? What was like the key thing that you loved about it the most?
Well, I was always fascinated this is going back to like 2004 and 5. Used to always watch those flip house shows with Armando Montalongo and the crew up in Connecticut and everything. And, used to always see these guys rehab his house. I would love to do that. And, then I set a goal. I was like thinking, I always wanted to open my own real estate investment firm, be a big landlord, manage properties, flip houses. I didn't get inspired by that show. That just kind of enhanced what I was already thinking. And I just got wowed by it, obviously, and so on. And, it took some time to get to that point. My first taste of it was when I bought a house hack. If you're not familiar with that, is when you buy a house, multifamily, you live in one half, rent out the other, the tenants subsidize your mortgage and basically pay your mortgage for you. So I bought that 13, 14 years ago. That was my first taste of real estate per se as an investor right there. So that was how I got started in wanting to be in real estate. But as an entrepreneur, I was an entrepreneur as a kid. I always had like you said, you summed it up pretty much right. You have a full-time job, side hustle, or I'd have one primary job that actually even paid me well and have a couple side hustles. Just go back to my childhood as an example. I was 9 years old. My father, hardworking blue collar guy, comes home from the postal service. He's got a front yard full of kids swinging nunchucks. Interesting story. Yeah. I took the time from wood shop, they used to have these wooden dowel rods. You cut them, about 12 inches. I'd go to the hardware store, I'd get the chain and the attachment. I was selling the nunchucks. Just always had some way of making money, or just I had that mindset and I just loved it. And I don't know why I did. I just something about it just clicked. So that's just that's the first thing that comes to mind as an entrepreneur, as a kid, really doing something like that as well.
No, I definitely agree. I think in sales and being an entrepreneur, the more time, more hustle you put into it, the more money you can make. So right. I know a lot of people that are watching right now, please hashtag live if you're watching live, hashtag on the replay. If you guys are involved in the real estate world, in business in general, use this time as a networking, as well. So drop your website, drop contact information in a comment. If you guys have questions for us, drop that in the comments as well. We would love for more engagement. And don't forget, we love hitting the love button, the wow button, hit the share button so we can have and help other people as well that are in your community so that we can keep growing our network. Also, I want to throw this out there. If anyone is interested in coming on with us, I want you to use this link. You will become backstage and you can be on with us and ask a question from either one of us, or if you want to interject on whatever we're talking about at the time, please. Taking on action takers. I want to see those that want to jump on and network and be live and not be afraid. So this is the link. Make sure you check it out. I'll flash it up there every once in a while. If you want to take a chance and step outside your comfort zone and join us, please do. Now, Bill, I love how an entrepreneur has certain schedules. They have certain things they have to do. There's non-negotiables that you have to worry about. Can you talk about maybe what are some non-negotiables you have, or talk about your schedule and how it's all set up?
Well, honestly, I'm kind of a functional in chaos kind of guy. I'm very structured to a lot of people, but to me, I feel like I don't have the same routine every day. Morning routine just to kind of get myself day started and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer in getting up and starting my day, but I'm not a 5 a.m.er. I know you are. There's some people that are 5 a.m.ers. They get up, they get their workout in, and I work out, I eat healthy, but I'm a 7:30 guy. I'm a night owl, but I'm a firm believer in having your mind and body rested and taking time when to plug. Anybody that knows me, that really, really knows me, that will possibly describe me, I would hope would say he's a hustler, a grinder, and he's just, I got tenacity, whatever, but that can be done with finesse and not long hours. You put in the hours, you just work smarter, obviously, but I like to rest. I love sleeping, don't get me wrong. And I like to take my mental health days where it's real important to just rest, recharge your battery so you can be 100% and focus on the one or two things that you need to versus just being scattered and, focusing energy here, and here. So but do's and don'ts. I think maybe I did a little politician and avoided the actual answer. No, really some do's and don'ts, some don'ts. Don't work with any people that will be difficult in the sense that they will suck your energy, meaning if you're at a stage in your business or your career as an entrepreneur and you can pick and choose who you can work with and say, well, if you're just starting out, maybe you have to take every client or every person to build yourself up, reputation. But don't let people be energy suckers. Don't let people bully you. Don't let people undervalue you or take advantage of you. So do's and don'ts. The don'ts is don't work with people that are difficult or that'll suck your energy, and work with people that'll uplift you, inspire you, or want to work with you, not against you, or compete with you. If you have a partnership with somebody, well, I'm going to one up you. I can do that. If you can do that, I can do that. Healthy competition is fine, but when you're partners, you got to leverage each other's strengths to make up each other's weaknesses.
Well said. Definitely well said. It's important to have that mentality to help others. That's what I found. That's how I changed my whole mindset for my business.
Of course.
In the insurance world, a lot of insurance brokers sit in the office, wait for the phone to ring.
Sure.
I like to help others and help them grow their business, and not even talk about insurance. I'm going to talk about whatever it is to help you. If you need a connection, if you need somebody to, help your business, you need help at marketing, etc. If I could help you grow, you're going to help me grow with those opportunities that come along every once in a while anyway. So it's so important to change your mindset and help more before you ask for any kind of money.
Perfectly well said, because I'm a connection guy. I seem to always, my whole life, I've always been able to connect with one person, do multiple things with that person. Then I meet somebody in that person's network and I branch off with them, and just your network is really your network is your net worth. It's a cliche, but it's really true. Everything I did as a realtor last year, literally, I'm not a big fan of being a realtor. I seem to be good at it. Okay. People come to me and stuff, but everything I did last year was sphere of influence or referrals, and it's been fantastic. My network is really good to me. Reputation is pretty much everything. So your reputation and how you work and your work ethic and is really the most important. So people will be good to you if you're good to them, basically. Give and take, but giving is obviously much better. And I obviously gave enough to get to receive the blessings of everything that people have done for me, said for me, got me where I am, and so on.
It seems to what you're saying to me is you use real estate being a realtor to improve your investment side of your business. That's really where the passion is. Taking buyers out, looking at 50 properties. That's not, I don't think as you have a system. I think if it's like, I want to have this, and this, I have someone pre-approved. They're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. They want a cape or whatever. And you have it with the conversation, and you show them those couple properties and they pick one, and that's what they go with.
Yeah, I'm not the most experienced realtor, but just knowing sales is listening to what people want and then telling them what they need. I always give a disclaimer to clients. I'm the realtor who's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Actually, Zillow review where a client of mine actually said that about me, and they said that's what they loved about me, because I'm not brutally honest, meaning I'm nice, but I won't sugarcoat it. I'm going to get you the right house. I'm going to show you a minimum of 5 houses, narrow it down, and get you in there if possible. So yeah, just not wasting my time with people and spinning my wheels, but really getting down to the nitty gritty of what their needs and wants are, asking those questions right from the get-go. So it's exhausting looking for a house, man. I'll tell you, nobody wants to go through the process of checking out 50 houses, or after this 10th house, they're jaded and they're like, I don't want to do this. This is exhausting.
No, I like how you have a system in place. And Ricardo Belgrave, thanks for being with us. Definitely, I love when people follow directions, dropping the hashtag lives and dropping their links to other social media platforms you might have. Ask us some questions, because this is the value that we're trying to help you. And as you just heard Bill, showing 5 houses instead of 50. Well, how do you get to that point? You have to open your mouth, have a conversation, find out what your buyers are really, really looking for. Instead of saying, hey, I want to look at houses today. You want to go look at cars like that? Good luck. Have fun with that. That's a smaller amount of money you're dealing with. At home, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. You don't want to waste people's time. This is life. You got to uproot yourself, and it's important to not take advantage of that time that someone has. Maybe they think you're going to buy it, and now you're just wasting their time.
Mm-hmm. True. It just goes back to all the sales training I had as the years I did, about 19 years in the wireless industry, sales, district manager, director, anything with manager, director. I kind of had the title, had multiple staff under me. I had to train sales teams and stuff. So I had to start somewhere, and then all those other companies I worked for that implemented it. And just I feel like I'm naturally charismatic, and I have a people personality. Even though I probably secretly don't always like dealing with people all the time, I seem to have a natural ability to deal with people. So yeah, that gets you there as well. So, but listening is very key.
Very, very key. A reminder: hashtag live and hashtag replay on the replay. If you want to come on and ask some questions, basically jump on with this link, and we'll bring you backstage. Now, Bill, how are you lead generating right now? You have a couple different businesses. If you want to kind of discuss, I love sharing. And people say, well, I don't want to tell people my tips and tricks because they're going to steal my business. No. I could tell you exactly word for word to do certain things. People don't implement. That's the funny thing.
So I'm going to give you a really disappointing answer. I rely on others to market for me. So like I said, that relationship and reputation is huge. I don't focus on being a realtor as much. I don't set yearly goals. Like last year I did, because I wanted to actually be more active as a realtor. But I focus more on the investing, picking up rentals and flips. So I actually, as a realtor, most of it's been sphere of influence. I'm not gonna lie, I have done some Zillow leads. I have converted some, but I'm not a big fan of them. And any realtor who deals with Zillow will probably tell you that. But when it comes to my investing, I rely on wholesalers. If you don't know what wholesalers are, they're the ones who do all the legwork, mail out all the postcards, text messages, those signs, we buy houses cash. I rely on them to find me the deals, and severely discounted. They make a fee, the seller's happy, the buyer, which is myself, gets a substantially discounted property. I got to talk here. Having my coffee completely. Yeah. So it's a discounted property, and they do all the legwork for me. Basically, you leverage them. I always try to align myself with all the rock stars. Then you become a rock star. I know pretty much all the big wholesalers in South Jersey. They know me. A lot of times they bring the deals to me knowing I get first dibs, as they know I buy in a certain area. They know I can execute. I have the funding and stuff like that. So that's honestly networking and aligning yourself with the right people. I've done postcards in the past. This is like going back 3-4 years ago for wholesaling. I did some stuff. I dabbled in that myself, had some pretty good success, but honestly, just knowing people and getting yourself out there. Like I have a social media presence. That's how we connected, clearly. Yes. Yep. I do that just for other people's value. I get people saying, well, they're rooting me on, they're cheering me on, and it's great. And that inspires me. But people tell me that I'm actually influencing and inspiring them. With people DM me and tell me that. And I'm like, it's kind of humbling because I don't think of myself like that. I just kind of do I guess really the only thing I can say is I just do what I do. And if I'm giving people value, that's fantastic, and inspiring people. So,
well, when you're authentic and you're real, that's what people need today. That's what I like to bring consistently. You're a human being, and everybody, and you're not afraid to share this information that you have in your noggin. A lot of people say, I don't want to be in front of the camera. What happens if people make comments about? Well, at least you're doing it, and not many people are doing this. And something that if you do it consistently, it will help you grow your business.
Sure.
We've been talking about lead generation. I love that you have the rent due on that with the monopoly in the background.
Yeah.
I love that. Success is never owned. It's only rented, and rent is due every day.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel as far as the nuances of being a landlord? Like especially with COVID, with a lot of these, tenants not able to pay, maybe they lost their job, etc. What are some struggles happening with that?
I have lost thousands of dollars this year due to that particular scenario. I picked up a number of last year, I should say. 2020 was a great year for acquisition and assets. Cash flow wasn't as good on the rental side. I had a few tenants that I inherited from other properties. I was fortunate that they couldn't pay. In the sense, I was fortunate that they couldn't pay, but it worked out for me. We actually worked it out amongst ourselves. We didn't do a cash for keys scenario. Actually, I might have lost a month's rent because they couldn't pay. I was like, listen, I'll work with you. Just communicate with me. I always say to people, when you communicate and keep that line of communication open, I'm very easy to deal with. I'm not going to boot somebody out. That's their place to live. I know it's a business I'm running, but after a certain point, you have to do what you got to do. But I'll work with all my tenants. So I was fortunately able to get them out. And they had a place to secure, and then I actually helped them in certain cases. So there was 2 tenants. I avoided that. One of them got arrested. Unfortunately, they were expressing their rights to do stuff in Philadelphia, and he got incarcerated. So his wife was left to take care of that, and she didn't tell me for 3 months. And then the other one, they lost their job, and the tenants came with a 4-unit building that I bought, but they moved with their sister in town, and it worked out. But I was able to, that actually kind of helped me because those tenants, I was able to increase the rent up to market value because when I bought the properties, they were severely under rented. I keep my rent right at market or a little under, and then I improve them just to keep the tenants happy. I like to have long-term people. I don't want to have 1 year, 2 year turnover. So that's important. So being greedy about extra $175 a month really in the long run doesn't add up because you're spending more on turnover, screening, depending on what process you do. If you hire a realtor, you got to pay them to do it, or you just got to give your most valuable asset time. So I've had to turn over units after they left. I had to rent them out. I had months of lost rents. I actually do have one eviction going, but it's for a commercial tenant. It's not where somebody lives. It's an unusual situation. And I've tried working with this person. The person might be going through some stuff or be on drugs. $450 a month rent. That's a commercial space I have. She messaged me back in November saying, I'm getting an SBA loan. I'm going to pay you for the backup 5 months that I owe you. I'm going to pay you for the remainder of the year, which is like 2-3 months remaining. And never heard from her. Then I said, listen, I got a proposal for you. I obviously had to file the eviction with the attorney. I'll let all the past rent go. Legal fees, everything. If you just get your stuff out by the end of the weekend. End of the weekend came, I checked, she didn't communicate with me. And I said, obviously you didn't uphold your end of the deal. And I says, I'm going to have to continue with the pursuit of the eviction unless you want to change this otherwise. And it's still going on. So I've been fortunate. The only eviction I have is going for a commercial space, and it's only $450 a month, which is under rented as well. It's in that same 4-unit building. So that's been a big challenge, a lot of turnover.
I mean, that's just part of the business. And a lot of people are afraid to pull the trigger to be an investor. What happens if they don't pay the rent? Was an unusual year for everything happening with the pandemic and everything when paying. But on a normal year, whatever you want to call it, there's always going to be times you're not going to have somebody pay rent. And you communicating is huge as far as building that relationship, finding out how they're going to be able to work something out. That's the important thing, because everyone's humans, trying to help them continue on their life and their ways. So that's a key thing for sure. So those that are watching, if you have investor questions, definitely drop them in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end as well and after our live. Now, we've met through, and we've never met in person. We've met through social media. we network. And how are you using networking online? A lot of people are doing events. Back in the day, I was holding one every month, but can't do that right now because of the restrictions. But I've been changing the game as far as how I'm networking. What are some things you're doing? Is there any tips and tricks you can share for those that are watching?
I'm always huge on networking events. Back before COVID, I used to go to 2-3 a week. It's real estate or just mostly real estate, but other different ones as well too. You know, I did do in Philadelphia, though I'm a South Jersey guy. I have a huge network over in Philadelphia, actually. So if I ever wanted to cross the bridge, I know I could succeed. But lately, just keeping my presence known and documenting what I do, celebrating my wins, and just being completely transparent with people. Like, look, this is not all rainbows and sunshine. You see all the hard work and everything. You don't see the downfalls, the lessons learned, and the blood, sweat, and tears, yada, 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 all that stuff that people don't see. But I share that stuff. And, you know, I share for myself. But if along the way, other people gain value, like I said, if they're inspired, if they get a tip or hear something that I say that, hey, I was in that situation, or I remember Bill said this that one time, and that's how he did it. But people reach out to me frequently. My DMs go off often. People comment, friend requests, and I'm always willing to connect with people and give them my time. You know, you don't even have to bring anything to the table. If you just want to connect, have a conversation, you know, I'll always try my best to make time for people if I can or if I can't. I like connecting with people.
I definitely agree with you. Having those, I always say they're connection calls. They're not cold calls. You're just having a conversation. You're getting deep with somebody, finding out what are some things that are happening in their lives. Maybe there's some things you could help them with. And that's more of a resource. And then you can get into doing other things with your businesses or whatever you guys are selling. It's just something that about building and communicating and going deep and being authentic with others is so important today, so that you can have those relationships. And like you said before, other people are finding you business because you're training them in the conversation of who and how to find leads for you. That's a huge thing to do.
Well, and that's the thing, is that like my insurance guy, my home inspector, my mortgage guy, different people that have worked with me, my lender who does my refinances, they get referrals from me all the time. People say, hey, you got a guy, you got a tub glazer, you got a refinance guy. I got people. I always make myself have a big network, or as a guy I know, Hone Tai, you had Hone on here. He likes to use an analogy as having, I've always had this, but he put it in perspective as having more tools on your utility belt. So when you need it, you can pull it out, like having this, having that. I've always been a resource guy. So I refer when somebody asks or needs something, I'll say, hey, listen, I got a guy. It's up to you if you want to use them. I'll make the connection. We'll go where it goes from there is completely up to you guys. So my insurance guy, a lot of people get referrals from me. So they give me, I give back. You have to. So if you do a good job for me and you work well with me, not just price, but I'll pay more for better value, customer service, quality of work. I'll tell you, you do a good roof for me, you do great. Like this guy, Hugo, does countertops, Boss Granite. He reached out to me, wanted to work with me from seeing what I saw, but I wanted to work with him too because I saw him. And he did a great job on two of them. He's a social media guy, plugs me, plug him. I don't really get any benefit from him plugging me, except him like saying, hey, check this guy out. He's real hustling. He's doing a great job. And, I always refer Hugo. Somebody asked me where I got my countertops, as I did a picture or a Facebook Live. And my friend, I DM'd her real quick. I said, yeah, there's his number. She ended up going with him. So that's just little things like that. If I can help people and add value and help grow their business, that's great. I don't need to get anything out of it. Just knowing the satisfaction and that I provided value. That's really all.
Definitely. Tagging others is huge because now you're helping, and there are communities looking at what you're doing, what's going on. Hone is awesome. He is a wealth of knowledge. He loves to share. He's not afraid to share, because the more you share, you're actually implementing, and it's being more ingrained in you. That's why the more you're doing it, and you make mistakes. And it's important to understand making mistakes is part of life. It's part of you as far as learning, and you learn and you grow. If you're not making mistakes, you're not growing. You're stale. You're not going anywhere.
Very true.
And how are you personally developing yourself? Are you one that is on, watching podcasts, or you're reading books, or you're audio? What are some things that you're doing to personally develop?
I love sitting on the couch eating potato chips, binge watching Netflix. No, honestly, 2020 was a real year of implementation. I didn't stunt my growth or stop listening to podcasts. I did some books, here and there, but it was more of a take action and just go, 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 and just do what you can. And it was a fantastic year. 2021 is an implementing year, but I want to take more time to educate myself more and brush up on some past things, but get into new ventures and stuff. So basically, I want to do some automated businesses, like maybe automated car washes, but maybe completely automated laundromats where, you can use credit card, no staffing, no overhead, in the sense that you have employees really so much. Those are things I want to get into. I want to get into like maybe notes, maybe buying notes, or maybe these flips that I'm doing, maybe being a lender. Once I get a certain amount of reserve, I can have my money make me money and lend it to other investors, that all those investors that lend me their money that get a great return and get paid back. I wanted that be that person eventually and grow into that. But self-development is just more or less keeping yourself, my mental health really focused. Me and Joey Chan and Jonathan focused on that in the podcast without even knowing it. Because, last year was really, intense for a lot of people, especially me too, running a business, single guy, live by himself, having to quarantine. And I'm a social guy. I'm always out there doing this and that. And I'm not really good with restrictions or being buckled down kind of, so I like to be out and doing stuff. So I basically pointed out some of the stuff that I had dealt with, but knowing when to kind of pump the brakes and take some time away, shut your phone off, be present and stuff like that is really important for your development. You can read all the books you want, listen to all the podcasts you want. You can only absorb so much information and then just, put it out there. Then if you're just regurgitating it out and saying, oh, this is what you do to other people, but you're not practicing it. So I do take in information, but I don't overload on information. Some people do, and that's great, and they can handle it. I can too. I just choose to do it in a different way.
Well said. Ayana, good morning. What's up, Charlie? Thanks for being with us today. Now, Bill, what are some final thoughts you can share with us today?
Well, just, 4 years ago, I took an opportunity to roll the dice, take a chance, live my dream. I quit a job and I became a full-time entrepreneur, real estate investor. I really didn't have I thought you would think I had a lot of systems in place. I had one rental property that was, at the time, it was two rental properties, a duplex, giving me $1,000 in positive cash flow. I didn't have a lot in my savings because I had stepped down from a higher level position to take a lower position for better hours, to have weekends off. But I instantly quit my job, but I just my natural ability, I had to quit that job to, I was comfortable making good money, and I had to put myself in a struggle or to mentally to know that natural survival instinct and natural abilities I had as an entrepreneur to fulfill my dream. But don't be afraid to take chances. Every moment or every setback is temporary. If you got to take 3 back to go 1 forward, it's worth it. If you can endure, do it.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing some awesome golden nuggets for these people that are watching today and on the replay. If you guys want to reach out, please, his cell phone and his email is on the screen. Definitely jot it down, reach out, connect, friend request with Bill. He is a guy that will definitely take your call, learn about how he can help you. And that's something that I always like to, be involved with, is those that are in the same mindset. So I appreciate you, Bill. Great knowing you. Definitely will meet up whenever this craziness kind of changes for us for the better. And I hope that you have, and everyone else, hope you all have an awesome day.
Sean, thanks for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.